Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's premium review in which we are taking a look at the British Hornet Mk.I, the new premium added in this patch, which is a very interesting plane. A Hornet has always been a plane that I liked in certain ways, but that always did not give me the results that I had in other planes. Now some of that was the Hispanos in the past, but it is also the limitations of this plane that I did not fully understand back then. And it is a plane that can fulfill two roles, but it has downsides to both roles. It can be energy fighting and it can be boom and zooming, but it has downsides to both of them. And that is interesting. But we'll get into that. This plane starts with an air start, and quite a high air start as an air defense fighter, which is nice. And then it has absolutely fantastic climb rate that brings it up to an altitude that no one can compete with, basically. I have always been the highest plane as I flew this one, and as the other one, the regular 3-1, the Mark III, I also the same experience there. And then that gives you the ideal position to start boom and zooming. But as I said, it doesn't have a fantastic top speed in a dive, so you run into a little bit of problems there. It's also quite sluggish when slow, so when energy fighting you face that problem. So yeah, let's get into that. The maximum speed in this Hornet at sea level without web is 564 kilometers an hour, and with web 635. 635, yes. Blisteringly fast. Fantastic. At 4,500 meters, she'll go up to 522 without web and 565 with. Again, huge difference. Fantastic. And then at 6,500 meters, you have 493 without web and 544 with web. The war emergency power on this plane is fan-freaking-tastic. It is absolutely amazing. And with that war emergency power, you can go up to 635 at sea level. It is very fast at sea level, and it is fast as well on the higher altitudes. So that is good. That is very good. That is one of the strong points of this plane. The straight line speeds are great. Now, in a dive, this is not the case. So as you are fast in the straight lines, once you go into the dive, she has limited top speed in the dive. At 785 you get the red line, and at 830 she rips apart. This is very quickly after each other. 45 kilometers an hour difference between the red line and the rip speed is dangerous territory. I've only met a few planes that are in this same range, around 50 kilometers an hour, but the 45 is very low. It might be the plane with the slowest window there between the red line and the rip speed. Now this is dangerous as you are at a certain speed then already, quite fast. The plane is struggling, and then you need to get out of it, and then you only have 45 kilometers an hour. Now the plane only has decent acceleration, nothing spectacular, but it's still good enough. Once you hit the 785, you need to get out of there immediately if you don't want to rip the plane. So be careful in the long ends of the dive in this plane, because you will have a problem. And as most of the planes you'll face at 5.7 battle rating have higher top speed in a dive, especially the single seaters, you are gonna have a problem in a dive. You will not be able to compete in the lower ends of a dive, and so your boom and zoom capability there is limited. It is not competitive in a sense. And then on the other hand, it is one of the things this plane does. You know, it gets to the altitudes and you have to start boom and zooming, but you have to be careful in longer boom and zoom runs. So be aware. Control stiffening already starts at 650, and this plane does not start off with a great roll rate. The roll rate in this plane is actually bad. And when you have already your first tick in the roll rate at 650, and then at 750 it becomes more severe. Well, it becomes a little bit. I don't know what is the word I'm looking for. That's sometimes the problem when English isn't your native language. You try to. I was thinking of a wonderful word, but it's completely gone. But anyway, the control stiffening, the compression in this plane in the roll rate is definitely present, and you got to be careful there. Especially rolling out 750 when you get that tick, and then you have to roll out, for example, in a long dive at 785 because you have that rip speed at 830 already. Well, that compression might crash you into the ground just yet. Stall speed in the plane is actually very good with 115 kilometers an hour. That is nice to have. Firepower in the plane is good. You have 4 20mm Hispano Mark 5s with 190 rounds per gun, which is good. Good ammo load on the plane. As we get shot to pieces here by the airfield. Look at that. Look at that. Bloody hell, they really wanted me. I have the feeling that since this patch the AAs have been a little bit pushed up again with effectiveness. Very effective. Also the regular field in the middle of the map AAs seem to be very lethal lately. But maybe it's already since the patch before that, I don't know. It's quite annoying. Especially that middle of the map AA efficiency is quite terrible. This plane can also be equipped with bombs, 500 pounds, 1,000 pounds, and also rockets and combos between those. So you get pairs of 500 pounds and pairs of 1,000 pounds. So that's nice. I guess this plane can fill a tank RB role as well. Get back to altitudes after throwing off the bombs and the rockets, and then get into the action of killing all the planes that come into the map. Because this plane can definitely get back to altitude after being low with its fantastic climb rate. But yeah, there is that. So good firepower, good ammo loads. The acceleration in this plane in a straight line and in a dive are decent. And then energy retention wise, in the horizontal, she holds her speed excellently if you come out of a dive and you try to run away from somebody. So and in the vertical it is also very, very good. You do have two great engines. You do have the climb rate that is fantastic, and yeah, just in the vertical she's very nice, except for the fact that at around 300 kilometers an hour or lower she becomes quite sluggish, as the turn time in the plane is bad and the roll rate is bad. You have a bit of a problem when it comes to actually capitalizing on the great capabilities this plane has as an energy fighter, as in the stall maneuvers. The capitalizing is difficult because she rolls over the top, and the execution of hammerheads, for example, it is quite difficult with the sluggishness this plane has at the lower speeds. And I found that to be a downside to an upside, basically. And with the boom and zooming, again, the same thing. The lower top speeds in a dive are again a downside to an upside, which is a plane that can get to the altitudes that this plane can with its air spawn and its climb rate. And then trying to capitalize on that as a boom and zoomer is difficult because the plane just doesn't have the roll rate and the handling in a dive. So the control, stiffening, the compression isn't up to par with the role it's supposed to take. And that's why the Hornet is a very interesting plane, as you are competitive only within certain ranges. And you gotta keep an eye on those ranges very well, and you gotta be careful not to get lured out of them. Because if you get lured out of them, this plane is a very easy target to dispatch for the other planes. So it's very unforgiving when it comes to that. You cannot get out of the strong points of this plane, and if you do, you are dog meat, basically. If you get into turn fighting, you're done. If you get into a rolling competition, you're done. You need to be very disciplined in your boom and zoom / energy fighting within the limits in which that this plane can do that well. And if you do that, she can be fine for you. She can net you very consistent performance. Oh, by the way, the flaps rip off at 430 already. And the plane doesn't fly well on one flap, as you just saw. So be careful with those flaps, because they rip off very, very early. It's another downside to the plane. With bad turn time, bad roll rate, and the trickiness when it comes to performing in the roles that this plane can perform. Overheating is not a big issue. She does overheat with continued web usage, but that is not surprising. But she easily cools off, so yeah, it is not an issue. Durability in this plane is decent. You have a little bit of armor for the pilot protection, and she does have fuel tanks in the wings, but she doesn't take too many fires. I don't know why, maybe I was lucky. But yeah, I found the durability to be decent. It can take a hit or two, and seems to be rather decent. But you do have that danger in a dive of wing snapping because of the low rip speed, as I said. That is the main danger in this plane, because you have to boom and zoom in this plane. Air start to start with, fantastic. Climb rate is fan-freaking-tastic. And when you get up there, you are basically without competitors almost. You're the fastest climbing plane out there, in combination with the air start, and you will be up there always. The Hornets are always up there, but then executing on that altitude with the limitations it has is the challenge in this plane. And I was a bit unlucky, I felt, with a match that just ended because of AI shooting each other. And then once when I could get more kills with the server lag, as you saw, I had a perfect boom and zoom setup, and I just completely flipped on me. The server issues, I guess. It also thought I was firing rockets and bombs and something else at the same time, which was very funny to see. So a bit unlucky, but I got a lot of 2-kill matches, and it's a consistent performer, and with a little bit more luck I could have gotten 3-4 3-kill matches. So yeah, this plane, it is interesting. It can be very strong and it is strengths, but it does have weaknesses to those same strengths, and it's interesting to make that work. And you have good competition, of course, here. This is another match where this should have been my 3rd kill, but watch what happens. Very entertaining indeed. Yeah, man. Oh my god. Bloody hell. Always nice. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. The Hornet Mk.I, interesting plane indeed. It has some very good size. The speed, it is blisteringly fast. It in a straight line. It is not blisteringly fast in a dive, unfortunately, with a 785 red line and an 830 rip. Very close together, very dangerous in the lower ends of your dive, so be careful with that. It has some compression at 650 with a roll rate that wasn't good to start with. The elevator stays functional though, but you know, it can be dangerous when you're rolling in a dive and you're upside down. You need to roll back with the compression hitting in it. This plane can be very dangerous in the lower ends of the dive, so be aware of that. The performance is decent in the acceleration, good, with excellent to fantastic energy retention, fantastic climb rate. Those are the good things. The maneuverability overall is bad, even very sluggish when slow, below 300. And yeah, interesting plane. Boom and zooming and energy fighting can be done, but it has downsides in both those roles, so it's difficult to make this plane perform very well, to capitalize on its strengths. And I also wonder what the use is of this premium. You have the Mark III in the regular line. It has the same battle rating. It has the same stat card. Now, I haven't flown that plane in a long while, but I assume the performance is pretty much the same. And then why would you want the premium? Why would you want this plane? It is not unique. It does give the better rewards, of course. It has good rewards on the plane, good percentages, but yeah, I mean, you can put a talisman on the regular tree one and you have almost the same thing except the silver lions. So it's something to think about. It is not unique, and that's all I'm saying here. I'm not sure if I would buy this Hornet. It is not a plane that gives you fantastic results with amazing performance, you know. It is good at what it does, but it has downsides as well. So yeah, I'm not convinced that you should buy this premium. I would actually advise against it, as you have the regular tree one, and it is a plane that gives you consistent results, but not excelling results because of the things I talked about in the video. So yeah, think twice, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.